Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon, good morning, depending on which part of the world you're watching this from. But it's a book club. So glad and blessed and honored and humbled that you can tune in. Thanks for staying with us. We get to do this on Sundays, 2 p.m. West African time. That correlates with different times and different time zones. And we are presently on our fifth book in this series. We've studied four books before now. We're in the fifth book here, and it's Bethenny Frankel's book, Business is Personal. That's what we've been reading for a while now. We're presently going to do chapter 7 today. We will not be done with it today. We'll take another bite at it next week. Hopefully, we'll close it out next week, but we'll take a first bite at chapter 7 today and try and close it out next week with a second bite into it. And if it flows into the third week, so be it. Like we get to say all the time, we're not in a hurry. Looking forward to our sixth book in the series. There, I have two books competing for that at this point in time. There's a brand new book out called The Good Life. It's a book that is a result of years of study of what happiness is. And the book is just out, recently released. It's titled The Good Life. I have my copy, came in last week. So between that and I'm also looking at Ariana's Often's book, Thrive. I think The Good Life might win. Ariana's book is kind of similar to Bethenny Frankel's book and The Good Life, kind of falls in between the two. So I'm thinking we're probably going to do The Good Life, not because that's just been released, and probably just take it out, right? But between The Good Life and Thrive, those are the two books fighting for the sixth place, sixth featured book right now. So somewhere between those two books is where we are right now. We'll see if any other book comes into the billing. But for now, most probably it's going to be The Good Life. Or Thrive if we don't do The Good Life. I've not read the book yet, The Good Life. I just got it. I've not read it. I got it just this week, and that's probably Thursday. I got it on Thursday, last Thursday. Anyways, let's go into today's read. I'm going to bring up my slides here, and we're going to do our first bite into chapter 7. All right. I guess you all can see my slide. Again, it's a book we're reading as Business is Personal. And the overarching term that Bethenny gives to the book is that is the truth about what it takes to be successful while staying true to yourself, without losing yourself, right? The truth about being successful and being happy also. The truth about being successful and being fulfilled, right? Those are important. It's not enough to be successful. You want to be fulfilled in your success. Otherwise, it's not a good success, right? Let's go on. And like we saw, just looking at the front of the book. All right. Let's go into the meat of it. So the title of chapter 7 is You're Only as Good as Your Weakest Link, right? It's just the same thing we typically would talk about a team spirit, right? A chain is as strong or as weak as the weakest link, because a chain has links, right? If you pull a chain is going to break at the weakest link, right? And here, when we talk about what we're going to talk about here is about building your team, right? Whether as an entrepreneur or as a life as a whole, right? None of us can do life on our own, right? We can't do everything that we need to do in life on our own. We don't have enough hours in the day. Now, can we be in all the places that we need to be to get all the things that concern our life done, right? I just see that every day, right? I see how I get to people make a difference in my life, right? I have a firm, which is like a business, right? And I don't go there. I can't go there and be doing all the other things I got to do. So I employ people to do that for me, right? So with my money, I'm able to purchase people's time skills, talent to be able to do that, right? So I'm able to get more than 24 hours that's allotted to me, right? I met a young lady here who's been ahead of me in the farming things, and she's been able to help me in several ways, right? Help me get my farm workers for this year at a much better price than I'd either gotten. She's helping me getting someone that's going to come install my irrigation pipes, something I've never done before. She's ordering sweet corn for me, the seeds that I need to plant, on like me buying it locally and more expensive. She's getting it cheaper for me. And several other things, right? When it comes to marketing, I'm able to call someone wants to buy 3 bags of Gary, and it's a challenge moving it from where it presently is to the person's house. I make a phone call. Someone is going to do that for me on Tuesday. All right. It's not even going to charge me, but I'm going to pay him what I would have paid someone, a commercial person to do it, right? And I'm giving it to him to bless him, not because he's asking for it, but that is all the things I need to get done. But if I depend on just myself, they won't get done, right? I have someone I met at the petrol station the other day is wanting to sell some of my product in a supermarket, right? That is someone. I'm having to design it. Someone is designing it. Someone is getting the package. Someone has gotten the trademark for me. Someone has gotten an that number. You cannot do everything you need to do by yourself. You need people in your life, but it's not just everybody, right? It's gotta be the people that belong to your tribe, right? So they have some kind of a likened spirit to you, but not just belong to your tribe. They belong to your team. You're able to call them, right? And you can get them to make a difference for you. And that's what we want to talk about. How do we go about doing that? So here in Bethenny's first part of her book, she gives us about 8 different things to look at in building a team, right? She's looking at it more from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but that also can be extended to our individual lives, right? We can build people around us that can help extend our ability, right? Extend our ability, right? We don't have to kill ourselves to get things done, right? The level to which you can build a team is a level or the limit of your growth. Your growth is limited by your ability to build teams that can do things that you cannot do, right? How strong and large your team is the limit of how much or how far you can grow, right? So let's look at what Bethenny has to say, looking at it from our book, right? So she says, to grow, you will have to learn to delegate and trust people with different aspects of your business, right? That's just all I've said earlier on. You have to learn to delegate. If you cannot delegate, you cannot be a leader. Leadership is all about ability to delegate, right? If you cannot delegate, you cannot be a leader. If you cannot be a leader, you cannot be a success in life. It takes leadership to succeed in life, right? You cannot lead, you cannot succeed. Don't forget, the first place of leadership is leading yourself. You lead yourself. You don't have to lead any other person. To be a leader, you have to be able to lead yourself. When you can lead yourself, then you can lead others, right? You have to be able to lead those above you also. If you cannot, when you can lead those above you, then you can lead those coming behind you, right? It's a 4-directional thing that will lead, right? The first and basic one is that you are able to lead yourself. You can have your life under control, your life having defined boundaries, not one that is scattered, right? But one that is guided. You have a belt that is holding everything together, right? That is leadership. Until you're able to do that, you cannot lead others, right? So you have to learn to delegate, right? So this is a single determinant of how big you can grow your business and how big you can grow as a person. If you have to do everything yourself, you cannot grow big. I used to be a part of an organization that did not know that there were the reasons why they were not growing, because it was like everything has to be. They were not able to trust. When you can't trust, you cannot grow, because you have to be able to trust and release people to make runs for you, right? You have to release people to make runs for you. They're not going to do it as perfect as you can, as you want it at first, but allow them grow. They will grow, right? You're only able to do so much with 24 hours, right? That you have been allotted. There's only so much you can do with 24 hours, right? Yet what you need requires more than 24 hours, but you are not going to get it. You get it by delegation. You get it by delegation. You get it by hiring people. You get it by paying salaries. You get it by using your friendship and your connection and your network. That's how you get more than 24 hours in a day. It's possible and it's available. Your ability to use it is your ability to grow, right? So the secret to growth is your ability to command other people's time, skills, connections, and talents. Some of the examples I gave at the beginning, right? Your ability to do that is your ability to grow. First, like I said, you have to lead yourself, win the war within. Only when you lead yourself can you lead others. Delegate, win the war without. Alrighty. So Bethenny says you have to be militant about not getting caught in the weeds if you want to grow, right? You have to, especially if you're perfectionist or workaholic, and the workaholic, like someone like me, you tend to want to. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I say all the time. I mean, I'm recovering from it. I used to be have that disease, but I know better today. So I'm in some places I'm still struggling with it, but I know better, right? Than to want to get everything perfect. I do all I can to cross my T's and dot my I's, right? But 80% might just be the time to go. It all depends on the time I have to do it. But I don't kill myself to get the 100%. Why? I do my best, but I shoot for perfection, but I don't kill myself over it, right? So I shoot for perfection, I get excellence, right? And excellence is good, all right? So you have to learn to delegate, learn to trust people, learn to release people, allow people, give room for people to grow, right? Understand that you did not get there in one day. They also need time to get there for themselves, so set, you have to set some standard and be willing to take what you have while you grow to where you want to get to, right? And Steve Madden so well said it. It says, in order to grow, you have to let go. Don't hold on to everything. Or you have to, you have some people that want to micromanage people. You're going to die before your time. If you want to micromanage people. Oh, hey, this, oh, that one. Have you looked at that? Have you looked at that? When you get into the weeds, you deprive yourself of the ability to see the big picture, right? If you focus on the weeds, you miss the big picture. Leadership is about the big picture, and you have to find people to help you, right? Teach and train people to look at the little details, right? That needs to be looked at. But you need to grow beyond some things, right? Maybe today you're looking at this level of detail. You need to grow beyond that. You need to delegate, get people that can look at those so you can look at bigger things, right? Because the more you look at the small things, it steals from you the opportunity and the time to look at the big things. It's called in economics opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost of being carried away by the little details? Right? If the opportunity cost is low, well, so be it. Spend your time on it. But if it is high, if you're missing something higher by being lost in the weeds, then you have to ask yourself, does it make sense to do it? Right? It's a balancing game. But at the end of the day, you need to employ the right people to do it. And if they're not yet there doing it the way you want it, help them get there, right? Set the minimum standard for your employment, then help them get there. Give them the time to get there. Give them the tools to get there, right? So, Bethenny goes and says, build the best and strongest team you possibly can, right? So it's up to you to build the team, right? Not killing yourself, trying to do everything yourself. You need to let go, right? So you can free up your time to look at the more excellent things, the more cordial thing, the more cogent things, the things no one really can do, right? But you, right? Prioritize those things. Spend your 24 hours well, right? The things other people can do, give it to them, train them, show them what you want them to do, right? So it frees up time for you to grow. It frees up time for you to look at the things that no other person but you can look at. It frees up time to look at things at your level, not things below your level, right? So letting go means taking the plunge and creating a team, hire people to help, and then delegate to them, which is what we've been saying all along, right? Delegate. Look for the right people that can do the things you cannot do, or the things that take most of your time but have the lowest value, right? You want to focus on the things that have the highest value. Prioritize your time around the things that have the highest value to you, right? While you let other things, delegate the things that others can do, all right? So trusting in others takes time, thought, and money, right? Because nobody can do you or do your thing like you would do it, right? Nobody can replicate you. They can only try, right? So you have to then understand that, be considerate, right? Be considerate and understand and see things from other people's high view, right? Don't be overly imposing per se, right? And give time for people to grow, right? You have to come to their level and bring them to your level, right? And doing all of that requires time, you thinking about it, and money, right? For mine, I've repeatedly told my farm manager, the things and he needs to work on, and his strong points and his weak points, right? And I try to use the strong points while I give him grace to work on his weak points. And also while he's working on his weak points, I can focus to cover the gaps on his weak points, right? So that, because if I don't do that, things will collapse. I expect him to use his strong points while I can help him cover the gaps and the weak points while I'm giving him time to grow, right? So those are those little things you got to do, all right? So these are the 8 points. So the first one on the 8 points, Bethenny gives in our book here in chapter 7 on how to build this team around yourself to help you in building your business or your life, right? Your life doesn't have to, your life itself is a business, right? Like I gave those personal examples earlier on, right? So you have to establish clear goals and expectations, right? Because if you don't have clear goals and expectations, you will not know how to adjudge the the people around you, right? You will not know how to judge the effectiveness of your delegation, because you have to declare about your delegation. What am I delegating? What am I trying to get out of that engagement, right? So you need to be clear as to the goals and expectations you're wanting of yourself and others, right? So, and people want to know their roles, right, and responsibilities. If you employ people and you don't give them roles and responsibilities, you're suffering them, but not suffering them, you're suffering yourself, because you're paying them, right, and you're not getting the best out of them, right? You need to release your people and let them flourish, because in their flourishing, you will flourish, right? But if you hold everything to your heart, you want to be guiding them, do this, do that. That's dumb, right? You don't employ talent only to treat them as if they are dull people, right? If you're employing a talent, skillful people, adults, treat them like adults, not babies. That is the way to get the best out of your team, right? Set clear goals, set clear expectations, let them know what it is you're expecting, right? Because if you whatever you expect of someone is what that person will rise to. If you have no expectation of a person, that person will stay at that low expectation. If you want the best from your people, then you have a high expectation of them, and they will seek to rise to that expectation. Just human behavior, right? Whatever expectation you have of people, they will rise to it, right? The other thing is, look for hard workers who align with your mission, right? So you when you're employing, you employ the right people. You employ for the goal, the culture that you're looking for, the skill set you're looking for, right? Pretty much your business is not a training ground, right? So, but there are certain instances where someone does not have all that you need, and you rather do with a certain set of critical skills while you give them opportunity and training to get the other ones. For instance, for our poultry, the people we're going to employ to run those poultry are people that have zero knowledge on running poultries. We will be employing them because of their personality, their attitude to work, right? Because that is most important for us. We will train them on how to run poultry, but we'll be employing them because of their attitude, right? That is what I have determined to be most important, right? So get hard workers and align them with your mission. Let them become a part of your team, right? Let them become a part of your culture. Let them become let them know and imbibe the value, the values, the belief of your organization, right? Because for as long as they're there, they are one. It needs to be one with your company for there to be a proper alignment, right? The other part is find the right roles for your people, right? So you need to align people, right? Put them where they fit. Put them where they fit with their skill set. You know, that helps. As long as they have the right, what is, like we said for the poultry workers, right? They hard working, they have the right attitude, and we're going to train them on the other part, right? But you need to rightly place those working for you, right? And those you also engage, right? When I engage people, I engage them based on their skill set, their talent, their connection. I'm not going to call someone who cannot do something. When I call you, is because I know that you can do what I'm calling you for, because I have seen it, I have experienced it, and I know you as being a champion in that field. I mean, I don't call people who are not champions in their fields, because I'm result oriented. When I call you, it's because I know you can get me the results I'm looking for, right? So we need to rightly align that. Don't just call people for things you're not sure, or you're forcing them to go off their lane to do it. It'll be a drag for them, it'll be a drag for you, right? So encourage complete honesty and transparency. So if your people are not honest, just like we'll say about our children, if they're not honest, it's because of the way we train them. We told them that honesty is not a value. Right. So if people are working for you, you need to let them understand that honesty and transparency is a high currency for you. Right. If they're transparent and honest with you and you punish them, what you're telling them effectively is that is not a value for you. Right. So it's not what you say, it's what you do. Right. If it's the way you relate with them, when you're putting a culture into an organization, the culture is coming from the top down, right? People in the organization will imbibe the culture they see of the leader, not what the leader is saying. Just like our children don't hear what we say, they reflect what we do. Same thing with an organization. You're like the father, parent of the organization. Every worker coming there is looking at you, right? They're going to test it. The culture is tested from the bottom, but then it's exemplified from the top, right? So show them that honesty and transparency is a value for you, and you'll get a reward for it, all right? Also, see the big picture, right? So again, all you're trying to do is making sure there's a perfect harmony in the company, right? There's a right matching of skill sets, of talents, such that you have an harmonious flow, right? Because when that is not present, then there's no harmonious flow, right? Big reason why I sacked my first farm manager, right? I guess she was just used to piffering, right? And was creating an unconducive atmosphere between her and the next person. So as to cover her tracks, right? I mean, it was just someone was used to piffering and saw me as a money bag that she can make all her money from. Had no bearing and no love for the work. It was just seeing how much money she could make from it, so I had to let her go, right? So yeah, and that we'll see at the last point, right? You need to let people go when they don't fit into your organization, right? Make sure everyone is doing their job and sticking to their knitting, right? So you don't want someone who's just gonna come and just hang on. We want people that are able to contribute their own little bit, to the organization, because you're paying them. It's not a charity, right? It's not a charity organization. They get paid to do their job and they need to be doing it. If you have someone who is not doing their job and you don't act, you will be telling all others that's a culture you want in your organization, and that cancer will spread. So if you see a cancer, someone who doesn't fit into the organization, someone that was not pulling their own weight, let them go. Same way I let off my first farm manager. Let them go. Because if you don't let them go, every other person will get the message that is what you want, and that cancer will spread, right? You have to be decisive, right? And you have to be constructive also with guidance and areas of improvement. And I've had to do a lot of this with my farm manager, when I see lapses, I don't necessarily just quickly get on it, right? I allow grace, and I don't just jump on him. I look for the right time to talk to him about issues, because I want him to understand where it's coming from. It's not coming from me despising him or castigating him, or because I want him to get better. I mean, he's not here today, but if he was here, it will tell you I treat him as family, even though he gets paid for what he's doing. It's not charity, right? I see him as part of my family, So, So it's been a mutually benefiting relationship, right? So don't be afraid to cut someone loose. Like I said earlier on, if someone does not fit the billing, is not fitting the culture, don't waste time on letting them go, because that cancer will spread if you don't cut it off, right? So that's important. All right, that's where I'm going to stop today as the first bite here into the first part of chapter 7 here. The next subtopic I see here is manage to manage, and we'll keen into that next week when we come back on this. So that's perfect timing, right? It's actually supposed to be 30 minutes slot. I know I get to run over if I have someone here. We have questions I'm answering, but yeah, perfect time to stop. All righty, have a great week ahead. It's actually Wednesday on Wednesday, and beginning a 40-day fast for those that do Lent. And so happy Lenten season, and see you next week Sunday by God's grace. Have a good one. God bless you. Bye-bye.